and really shredded them, but they've gotten better from that game
Hmm.
and been more assignment sound. So that's the challenge for the Longhorns to put the crowd aside, the blackout, all that's going to go on, and execute even without their best running back in
That's
Jonathan
exactly
Brooks,
right.
who won't be there. All right, we'll come back. There's good stuff with Rod behind the BOC. That's the challenge for the Longhorns, who are still right around an 8-point favorite in this game on Saturday night, 7 o'clock from Ames, Iowa. Coming back off the record, we'll get you what the definition of grundle is. I think you'll like it. Also, some other stories you maybe you've missed, but you need to hear, Rod, on this 16th of November. Coming back. Off the record stories you need to hear because you're going to be talking about them, or certainly people are going to be talking about them. We'll get back to the top stories at the top of the hour, including the Longhorns landing one of the top high school prospects in basketball for the class of 2024. Big get for Rodney Terry. Also, our fun Thursday conversations continue. Rod, what do you have in off the record? I'm going to get you the definition of grundle here coming up, but you need to know that. But hey, what do you have?
Ty, I sent you a piece of audio. I DM'd it to you. It's actually a Dan Campbell piece of audio. Now, speaking of Dan Campbell, there's two stories here while Ty gets the piece of audio ready. Dan Campbell was on the show, and he had a warning to all the Detroit Lions fans out there, and I think it's pretty funny. But Texas A&M, as we suggested yesterday, they did reach out to Dan Campbell reportedly. Nice. Dennis Dobbs reports that they did reach out to them. Dennis Dobbs of CBS Sports. And they had a conversation. They said, quote, after back channel communications were initiated by the Aggies, it was made clear that Campbell would be staying in the NFL with the Lions. I like that, first of all, because that shows you that they made a list of the top candidates, even the dream candidates, and they're just communicating with them all and forcing them to tell Aggies no, right? If they don't want the job, that's cool. Force them to tell you no. There's nothing wrong with hitting on the hottest woman in the club. If she's a 10, it's okay. And if you're a 7, all she can say is no. And who knows? She might say, you're cute. You know what I mean? You never know. All right, that's the Aggies right now. They're hitting on the hottest women in the club, and all they can do is tell them no. So I like that from the Aggies. I think it's a smart move. It does show you that also the Aggies may not. One of the theories is the Aggies already had in mind who they're going to hire. Maybe they don't.
Maybe they don't.
Maybe they don't have that in mind. They need to get rid of. They need to move on from Jimbo. They knew that.
Yeah. That had to happen.
That had to happen. We don't know who we're going to hire, but we know we can't be in this situation.
Or you're kind of placating boosters. Look, we call Dan Campbell. Like,
that's
we kind
cool.
of knowing he's not going to come. You know what I'm saying?
You got a booster who's like, hey, hit him up.
Yeah, well, he's an alum, and he's doing a great job in the NFL, and he's very well liked, and so you have to make that call and check boxes. And, you know, because if you're waiting, if Dan Lanning's your guy, you got to wait. Right?
Yes, you're waiting on that.
Kalen DeBoer's your guy, you got to wait.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong, as you said yesterday, actually doing due diligence and gaining some ideas. Hey, but Dan, if you don't want to come, do you have a coach on your staff that maybe we should think about for the coaching staff, big picture, who could help us out? Those kind of things. Aaron Glenn, of course, is the defensive coordinator. He's an Aggie.
He's an Aggie. Yeah. He likes former players, too, on his staff.
He does.
All right, Ty, do you have this audio ready to go for Coach Dan Campbell? So he was on a radio show, Stoney and Jansen with Heather, is the name of the show, Stoney and Jansen with Heather. And
Detroit's finest.
Yeah. He was talking about his very controversial fourth down play calls, because apparently his fourth down play calls are probably as unpredictable as any coach in the NFL.
Sure.
And nobody can really predict when he's going to go for it. All the metrics that try to do it, they're just failing miserably. And here's his advice for those who can't handle his very unpredictable fourth down play calling.
And look, here's what I would say because I tell my family this: just wear a diaper before some of these games, and I'll give them an alert, say, put them on and be ready to roll.
Tony wears them anyway.
Yeah,
I'm not that old yet. Come on.
I love that. He's like, hey, man, if y'all got a problem with it, put a diaper on, right? Because you may itch yourself with some of these calls I'm about to make.
That was last week against the Chargers. It was 4th and 2, and it was 38 all, and you punt the ball, right? Typically they got the first down. They went on and kicked a field goal, and he said we never wanted to give the ball back we wanted to finish with the ball.
Dude's got no fear. He just not operate that way.
Big brass ones.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, I'll play this for you, because now, speaking of brass ones, this is the Kelsey brothers. This is not about Taylor Swift. No Taylor Swift conversation. But from their New Heights podcast. And this is Travis Kelsey asking his brother Jason about last Thursday while he was in Germany. Jason was a part, because they had the bye week too, right? And he was on the Amazon broadcast with Herb Street and Al Michaels, and they brought him in for some pregame, and here's them talking about that and what went on, and then you'll hear the definition of grundle.
You joined the booth, Herb Street and Al Michaels, for the Bears-Panthers game. A little NFL on Prime Video.
Yeah, baby.
You killed it, dude.
It was exciting. It was honestly an unbelievable experience. Shout out to Amazon. Really just honored that they let me do that.
They also made you snap on your week off.
Yeah, simulating what Josh Dobbs had to go through. Brand new with a team, just has to get up off the sideline and go win a game.
Isn't it such a wild situation.
It's crazy. They wanted the visual of actually looking like what it felt like when you're trying to get used to another quarterback's cadence.
Or a new quarterback comes in, what do you initially do? Fitz mentioned that you immediately start taking snaps, but he made one mistake. He said, listen, I don't want to touch your grundle. Listen, ball security number one, you got to get up in there.
You got to get that grundle.
All
if
right.
I don't feel your hand on my grundle, I don't know where your hand's at. That's the reality. Seriously, that's becoming a major issue with college game because so much of the college game is played in shotgun.
Shotgun, yeah.
That when these quarterbacks come under, they like have their hand like barely touch. I'm like, bro, I need to feel some pressure. Like I need to know where that hand's at, brother. If I don't feel pressure, I'm snapping to my. I need to know where the hand is.
Touch it. Don't be scared, son.
If your knuckles don't smell like some sweaty balls afterwards, then you're not doing it right. Fitz wanted no part of that.
He ain't wanted no part. He was like, this dude just had some chili cheese dogs.
He was at the Wiener
There
Circle
you go.
last night.
There you go, Rod. Grundle.
Yeah, I get the definition now. I know exactly the area he's talking about.
Grundle.
Grundle.
Get it up in there.
Yeah, he's right though.
Don't
Actually,
be shy. I'm your center.
About the college game, they don't go in the center anymore. But in NFL, a lot of NFL coaches still love to go under center.
Every time Quinn
Yeah.
Ewers goes under center for a quarterback sneak, he drops the ball.
Well, and you know something crazy about to happen because he never goes under center. It's
Right.
going to be a trick play or it's going to be something weird going on. I like that, though, Grundle. I remember hearing a story about a center who had to – maybe Mark Schlereth told this story, that he had to go to the bathroom and he just decided to urinate right there.
On the bench.
What?
And then
No.
it's all over his pants.
Yeah, then the quarterback has
all
to
up
go
in
under
there?
there, yeah. And Grundle didn't get the Grundle, but that's a gross Grundle. And he said, yeah, that's how it is
Hey,
sometimes.
if your knuckles don't smell like sweaty balls,
Ooh, if
something
you're-
ain't happening.
Center and quarterback got to be close forever, considering how often that happens, right?
Hey, Jalen Hurts, I want to shake your hand, but can you wash your hand kindly, please?
Oh, man. Between that and Patrick Mahomes not washing his underwear.
We'll be back.
It's his lucky underwear he's wearing.
Oh, man.
Oh,
We'll
man.
continue to hook them up. We got 2 hours to go, 3 hours down, but plenty to do. Rod will have another rant coming up. We'll also talk more Texas, Iowa State, and the Longhorn commitment yesterday is a big one on a national scale and was announced on a national platform. We'll get you details on Hook 'em Up with Ian Rodby.